Bailey Braun, and I'll be telling you about what you can expect this weekend. We do have a few first alert weather days that have been issued for southeast as well as south central. You might have noticed some pretty strong winds if you live out in the Mat-Su Valley, and these are going to continue through the weekend. So I'll take you through what you can expect through the rest of your weekend. Now, just looking ahead, our next big impact that we're really focusing on is, again, these strong winds that we've already been seeing throughout South Central. We've seen this in the Mat-Su Valley, we've seen it in Anchorage, and we've even seen it as far south as Kenai. So we're going to continue to monitor these hurricane force winds, and we do have a high wind warning in effect through Monday afternoon. So these impacts could stretch into Monday, but for southeast, we're focusing on some heavy rain that is now turning into heavy snow, and these wind gusts are going to be up to 40 miles per hour paired with that snow that we are going to be seeing. So I'll tell you all about what you can expect as we move forward. But the big question is exactly why this is happening. Now, if you notice that low pressure system based pretty much in the Gulf of Alaska, this is moving in and moving with convergence with that high pressure system by the Seward Peninsula. So these strong winds are being formed basically as these two pressure systems join together, and they have these winds that are pushing together. So imagine, a pressurized conveyor belt. It's squeezing in these winds through those areas, especially for these more mountainous areas like the Mat-Su Valley. That's why we're seeing such strong winds. You can see right there as those winds, that jet stream basically carries in those winds through that area as well as into other portions of South Central. But this low pressure system by southeast is carrying all this moisture, and this is what's bringing in all of those snowy conditions into the Panhandle. So that's really what you can expect, and that's exactly why this is happening. I mean, even just looking at our peak wind gusts today, you can see those stronger wind gusts pretty much right on that trail that I just showed you, where that jet stream is carrying all of those strong winds. You can see in Bethel 61 mile per hour winds, and then other winds closer to 60, areas like Cold Bay. But then even just in South Central, we saw some pretty strong winds overnight last night and even this morning. So Palmer, we recorded 84 mile per hour winds in Palmer. That was the maximum that we've seen in Palmer. And then for Wasilla, we actually saw wind gusts up to 74 miles per hour. Now for Anchorage and Kenai, we only saw wind gusts up to 55 miles per hour, but that's still pretty significant. We're going to continue to see more of these strong winds into tomorrow and potentially into Monday. So if you do live in the Mat-Su Valley, be ready and be prepared, because more strong winds are on the way to you. Now for these weather alerts across the region for South Central, this high wind warning is issued across the Mat-Su Valley. This is going to last into Monday afternoon. Wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour are possible. That's hurricane force winds, and that's going to, we've already seen some roofs being affected. We've seen shingles being thrown off of roofs now, but you can expect this to continue into tomorrow. But this wind chill is going to be brought down to -10 to -20 degrees as those strong winds add a little bit more chill to the air. Now this wind advisory for those areas highlighted in that tan color is for Anchorage down into the northwest part of the Kenai Peninsula. This also expires Monday afternoon, but these gusts are up to 55 miles per hour, which we have already seen. This is going to bring wind chill down to -5 to -15 degrees. So pretty chilly, but not nearly as chilly as what the interior is seeing. But across the state, we're looking at these dry skies, dry conditions all the way from Bethel into the North Slope and into the interior. Completely dry and sunny skies. Now, you're going to notice this low pressure system down in the Gulf of Alaska. This is carrying lots of moisture. That's what's bringing in all of that snow and rain into the southeast region. So you can see that timeline right there. By Sunday afternoon, we're already going to see some pretty heavy portions of snow moving across, especially for Juneau. We're mostly going to see more of this snow for areas like Skagway and Haines, and especially those higher elevation regions. Now for Ketchikan and those areas more south in the Panhandle, we're seeing slightly warmer temperatures, and that's why we mostly have some rain moving into the region. But snow is mostly the big concern that we're paying attention to. This is really the first heavy snow of the season, and that's why we have a first alert weather day issued for tomorrow and Monday for southeast and for Juneau as well. So you can already see that by Monday you get that other round of snow that begins to make its way, but really the big weather maker day is going to be overnight tonight and into Sunday stretching into Monday morning. So just looking at these snow totals by Sunday afternoon, 7 inches expected in Juneau and nearly a foot in Haines. And then you can already see those higher elevation regions really being impacted. but not so much into the more southern portion of the Panhandle. We're looking at fairly dry conditions into areas like Ketchikan and Petersburg, but then as we progress through Sunday and into Monday, that's whenever we get a little bit more accumulation in some of those areas, about 4.5 inches in Petersburg, but then we get over a foot of snow in Haines and Pelican, 16 inches in Pelican and about 10 inches or so in Juneau by Monday night. So that's really what you can expect. But take a look at your weather alerts for the region. This winter storm warning is issued in those areas highlighted in pink. This includes Juneau, Hyder, Haines, Skagway. This is going to be in effect through Sunday at midnight. So the snow is likely 10 to 20 inches possible. Obviously, those 20 inches are more so for those areas in higher elevation regions. However, 10 inches is more likely for those lower lying areas. But winds are likely up to 40 miles per hour. So kind of a blizzard-like conditions, but winter storm watch is in effect through Petersburg to Wrangell, and this is going to be for Monday, from Monday morning into Monday night. But this is where you can see 4 to 7 inches of snow likely. With this winter weather advisory that we're seeing in those areas highlighted in purple, that includes Yakutat, but this expires at 9, so there's only a few more hours left of this winter weather advisory. But for areas like Cake and Port Alexander, this is going to be in effect from Sunday into Monday morning, where we will see 3 to 5 inches of snow expected for those areas. So that's really what you can expect to see, but even just looking at our regional forecast, snow is pretty much across the region, but again, you'll notice those warmer temperatures down in the more southern areas like Sitka and Ketchikan. That's why we're seeing more so of that rain rather than that snow. So expect that snow in those higher elevation regions, and please be careful and get your shovels ready because you're gonna have to get to work by the end of this weekend. Now, as we progress into the interior, we are looking at these pretty chilly temperatures. We're looking at 20 to 30 degree temperatures, sub-zero. Very chilly, and of course, wind chill is a big concern. That's where we're going to see wind chill up to 60 below zero, and that's whenever frostbite can kick in about 5 minutes. So happens pretty fast. So make sure you bundle up if you are working outside or just having extended periods outside. That's whenever you need to be careful. So mostly sunny skies ahead, but again, the cold is really the biggest concern for the interior. Now in the North Slope, we're actually seeing these temperatures slightly warmer than what we're seeing in the interior. So mostly clear skies for the North Slope, and we're also seeing these mostly clear skies out in western Alaska. Either completely clear or mostly sunny, it doesn't matter. Some of these high temperatures are actually sitting above zero, which is nice to see with all these Arctic-like temperatures moving through the state. So we do have some of these stronger wind gusts moving in for Bethel, where we do have a we have a blizzard warning in effect, but this is mostly true for these colder temperatures as well as gusting winds. Blizzard warning doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have buckets of snow being dumped on you. This is mostly for these winds picking up and blowing the snow that's already on the ground. So I just wanted to throw out that clarification and make life a little bit easier for some people, but for the Aleutians, we're actually seeing some of this wintry mix moving on through in areas like Unalaska as well as Cold Bay. These temperatures are sitting below zero, or sitting below freezing with these temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, and they're going to continue on like that for the next couple of days. But areas in the more western chain, that's where we're seeing warmer temperatures sitting above freezing, with those lows above freezing as well. With these wind gusts could be up to 60 miles per hour across the region, and we also have a gale warning in effect through tonight for the Aleutian chain with those strong winds in store. But don't expect too much snow or rain. These are mostly just a trace to some very light amounts of rain. Now for South Central, you can expect to see these mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy in some of these areas, but these wind gusts are likely up to 45 and 55 miles per hour in areas like Kenai. Slightly weaker winds into Homer, but stronger winds again into areas like Seward. You're already seeing these high temperatures sitting below freezing, peaking around 21 degrees. It's going to stay relatively chilly the next couple of days, and we're only on the decline with these temperatures for the next week. So make sure you buckle up and get ready, because it's just going to be cold after cold, and that's what you can look forward to for the next week. But for the Copper River Basin, we're seeing some mostly sunny skies as well. Whittier, you might see some light snow in the morning, but not so much into the afternoon. These temperatures are sitting closer to 20 degrees, with these lows sitting in the teens. Now for the Matsu Valley, again, we still have this high wind warning in effect through Monday afternoon. So be careful and be ready because more strong winds are on the way to you. Don't get too comfortable just yet. We've got wind gusts up to 90 miles per hour likely, but of course you'll probably just mostly see these gusts up to 70 and 70 miles per hour, but still don't rule out the possibility of those wind gusts of 90 miles per hour tearing through the valley. Now you can already see these high temperatures sitting closer to 10 degrees, and that of course adds to our wind chill. So be careful, avoid frostbite, make sure you bundle up if you are going outside. But for Anchorage, we can expect to see again these wind gusts up between 45 and 55 miles per hour with our high temperatures between 10 and 15 degrees. Even just looking at our 7-day, you're going to notice that decline in temperatures as we progress through the week and into the weekend. But then of course today and tomorrow were our first alert days for those high winds, which have been bringing in a lot of damage to especially the Mat-Su Valley. Now for Juneau, your first alert weather days are going to be tomorrow and Monday as that first heavy snow rolls through for the season. Again, get your shovels ready, make sure you bundle up and get ready for those wet roads as well as some moderate amounts of snowfall. It could range between half a foot or could be over a foot. It's a little bit hard to predict snow, but just be ready for closer to a foot of snow accumulate by the time Monday rolls around. And of course, Fairbanks, I did not forget about you just yet. We've got those mostly sunny skies all throughout the week. Some days are going to be slightly cloudier than others, but for the most part, expect mostly sunny skies with these temperatures still on the decline. We still have those plummeting temperatures throughout the week and into the weekend with these overnight lows dropping to nearly 40 degrees below zero. So it is getting pretty chilly. And again, of course, the biggest concern is going to be that wind chill, and that's whenever you get frostbite pretty fast. So if you're in the interior, make sure you bundle up. Frostbite with these temperatures could be between 5 and 10 minutes. So again, it happens really fast. So just make sure that you're being careful. And of course, if you are in the Mat-Su Valley or even in Anchorage, make sure you try to secure any loose items that you do have outside. Don't let your little kids or little pets run around because they'll fly away with these wind gusts. So make sure that you're being careful. But with that, I'll let you have a good rest of your weekend, and I will give you a nice view of Eagle River in the meantime.